All right, guys, we're doing customary compacity. So that's more of like your volume that we did like in science. So the essential question is, how can you compare and convert customary units to capacity? Maria has a can of paint with 3 cups of purple paint in it. She also has a bucket with the capacity of 26 fluid ounces. Will the bucket hold all of paint Maria has? The capacity of a container is the amount the container can hold. So how many fluid ounces are in 1 cup? So if you're not sure about that, let's look at here. And on the back side, it tells us there are 8 fluid ounces in 1 cup. So 1 cup is equal to 8 fluid ounces. So same rule we talked about before. If we're going larger to smaller, we multiply. If we're going smaller to larger, we divide. So let's look. If we're going to go from, she has a bucket of here, we're going from larger to smaller, so we're going to multiply. So she has 3 of those. How many fluid ounces are in a cup? There are 8, and we have 24 fluid ounces. So if we compare, we'll write greater than, less than, greater than, or equal to. So 24 fluid ounces is less than 26 fluid ounces. Since 24 fluid ounces is less than 26 fluid ounces, ounces, then Maria's bucket holds how much of holds all of the paint? Can she hold all of it? Yes, she can hold 24 ounces, holds all of the paint. Yes, she can hold all of it because 24 is less than 26, and her bucket can hold, if this was her bucket, it could hold 26, and we just said if this is 26 ounces, we said we only need a capacity for 24. So can it all fit in there? Yes. All right. So what if Maria has 7 cups of green paint and the container holds 64 fluid ounces? So we're going to just do 7 times 8, and we get 56, and a container was filled with 64 ounces of yellow paint. Which color of paint does Maria have more of? Okay, so we'll say this to ounces, and then we have 64 ounces. So this is green. This is yellow. Obviously, 56 is less than 64, so she has more yellow than she has green. Okay? So once we know, and it would be really nice if we would memorize this table up here, these tables. Some of these will come easy for us, and some might not come as easily. Okay, Carl made 32 pints of fruit punch for the party. Carol, she needs to carry the punch in 1-gallon containers. How many containers does she need? So the first thing we got to ask ourselves, we have to convert 32 pints to gallons. So we're going smaller to larger, so we are going to do what? So let's go here. We are going to divide, because when we go smaller to larger, to convert smaller units to, you need to divide. All right, here we go. 32 divided by How many pints are in a quart? Well, let's look. Pints, there's 2 pints in 1 quart. So we're going to divide it by 2. So 32 divided by 2 is 16, but I'll do it this way just to be sure. Equals 16 quarts. Okay, write an equation to convert the quarts. Now we know how many quarts we have to gallons. So we have 16 quarts, and we're still going smaller to larger, so we're going to divide. And how many quarts are in a gallon? Let's look. There's 4 quarts in a gallon. So 4 quarts equals 4 gallons, because 16 divided by 4. So Carl will need 4 1-gallon containers to carry the punch. Does that make sense why we did 2 chunks? We could have said we first needed to figure out how many quarts were in a pint, because that's how many, we don't have pints in a gallon. So we had to break it down into 2 steps. So let's look at this one down here, and we want to break, we use the picture to complete the statement and convert 3 quarts to pints. 1 quart is equal to, and we know that that is 2 pints. So 1 quart is blank, then 1 pint. So 1 quart is what? Equal, then 1 pint. Oh, 1 quart is greater than 1 pint. So 3 quarts is what to 1 pint? 3 quarts is greater than to 1 pint. Oh, now how are we going to figure this? We're going from quarts to pints, so we're going larger to smaller. When we go larger to smaller, we times. 3 quarts times, how many pints do we have? Well, there's 2 pints to a quart. 2 pints in 1 quart equals 6 pints. Does that make sense to you? If not, start asking some questions, because we're going to start doing a lot of converting, and it's just that whole thing. So 3 gallons is equal to how many pints? Well, we got quite a few steps to do here. First, we need to find out how many gallons are equal to, how many pints are in a quart, is one way we could do it. So we know there's 2 pints is equal to 1 quart. And we know what? There are 3 gallons in 1 quart. So we have 3 times, because we're going smaller or larger to smaller, we multiply, times 4 equals 12. And then we're still going larger to smaller, so we have 12 times 12. This is how many quarts we have. So now we have 12 quarts times 2 pints equals 24 pints. Okay, that's one way to do it. Mrs. DeCroney likes to first find out, to make it easier, can we figure out, by looking at this, how many pints are in a gallon? Well, if there's 2 pints in 1 quart, and there's 4 quarts in a gallon, could we do 2 times 4 equals 8? 8 pints equal 1 gallon. If we know that, and if we can convert that, then we can do 3 times 8 equals 24 pints. And we just double checked our answer there. All right. So I want you to do this one with your partner, shut it off, see what you're converting, and then come back on and see if you worked it the same way I did. So I know how many quarts are in a pint. There are 2 quarts in a pint, and I'm going larger to smaller, so I'm going to multiply. So 5 times 2 equals 10. 10 pints are in 5 quarts, is equivalent to it. All right, if I have 6 quarts equals how many cups? Well, I'm going to first figure out how many cups are in a quart. And if I know there are 2 cups in a pint, 2 cups in a pint, and there are 2 pints in a quart, so 2 times 2 is 4. So there are 4 cups equal 1 pint, or 1 quart. So when I know that, I know 6 times 4 equals 24. 24 cups. So you could have done it that way, or you could have done 2 cups equals 1 pint. So that's 2. And I know there are 2 pints times 2 cups, or 2 quarts equals 1 quart. So that's 4. And 4 times 6 is 24. Okay? So it's just a matter of knowing are you going larger or smaller and how many are in each. That's why it's so important to really have this available or have it out. So on your own, I would like you to do the evens on this page till you get it, understanding it. So once you get done with here, come on over, call me over and let me see what you've done with one of these. When you're done with that, we'll skip this for right now. This will be really cool after we've done our coordinate points before. Let's do the evens on this page, please. And 1 or 2 and all the rest. Please make sure you understand what you're doing because it only gets more steps later.